Yes, because it was mine last week.
I got one. Does it? Fuck. To Timothy Zahn
Timothy Zahn.
for making us happy today,
Mm-hmm.
or to Star Wars and Timothy Zahn, but regardless.
Yes, either or both.
Also, yes,
This was very poor planning on my part.
it was. And we have no glasses.
I know.
We did an aluminum cheers. That's
Yeah, and you could not hear the
It was like,
clanking at all.
bong.
Yeah. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I am wondering why my chat is not opening up. Let me look.
Is this like
Camera 1, camera 2. It's like it's just not fucking working, and
this happens like every week?
No, it doesn't. It's been solid on this thing, and now it's not. So whatever. Don't point at me, Mister. I'm gonna clang around my fucking bottle as we're doing our 30 seconds of silence.
Again, poor planning on my part. I fully admit that.
We'll fix it in post.
We won't at all. So, what are we talking about this week?
Well, first of all, we're going to talk about Thrawn.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that because that just kind of popped into our laps.
Yes. Thank you, Bronco Fett.
Yes, thank you, Bronco Fett.
I would not have seen that if he hadn't posted that, by the way.
I don't think I would have either, because we were actually studying our actual topic, which is going to be talking about the Force Awakens trailers.
Yes.
And we're talking about the Force Awakens trailers because we want a episode 9 trailer really, really bad.
Yes. And there's a lot of rumor and innuendo that potentially we might be getting one this month. We'll see.
Whatevs. I hope so. I'd love to.
Yeah. But either way,
we'll get into the Force Awakens trailer bit here after we talk about our. Say it, Jason. Say breaking news.
Oh, our breaking news.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I forgot how things work. So. Oh my God, we are really fucked up tonight. I'm very sorry.
And we're not drinking, by the by.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and that's a whole other story that I gotta have with you at some point.
All
but
right.
Anyway, so yeah, fucking hot off the presses as we were about to eat dinner before fucking recording the podcast tonight. Boom, StarWars.com, Star Wars Show, all of these people reveal the new Timothy Zahn book, Thrawn Treason. The third book in the Thrawn.
You were going to do it, or
wrong.
You were going to do it, or I was.
God damn it! I don't know what the fuck is wrong with us tonight. But yes, new Thrawn book, the third book in the series now, written by Timothy Zahn for the new canon, Thrawn Treason. So instead of just kind of like babbling on incoherently, I'm going to go ahead and read this article from StarWars.com. So if you've already read this, forgive me, but this is exactly what came from the official, legitimate news source, StarWars.com. You hear that? Legitimate, official? Today, Lucasfilm and Del Rey are pleased to announce the title of the next installment in Timothy Zahn's best-selling Thrawn series with an exclusive reveal on StarWars.com. As seen on today's episode of the Star Wars Show, which we'll talk about in a minute, we're thrilled to give you the first look at the next installment exploring the life of Chiss Warrior Grand Admiral Thrawn. Star Wars Thrawn Treason with the cover below. You see the cover, it's a picture of Thrawn with Palpatine like kind of looking over his shoulder, looking all pissed off. Set in the time of the Empire, here's the official description for the novel. Grand Admiral Thrawn faces the ultimate test of his loyalty to the Empire in this epic Star Wars novel from best-selling author Timothy Zahn. If I were to serve the Empire, you would command my allegiance. Such was the promise Grand Admiral Thrawn made to Emperor Palpatine at their first meeting. Since then, Thrawn has been one of the Empire's most effective instruments, pursuing its enemies to the very edges of the known galaxy. But as keen a weapon as Thrawn has become, the Emperor dreams of something far more destructive. Now, as Thrawn's TIE Defender program is halted in favor of Director Krennic's secret Death Star project, which we just talked about in Rebels,
Yep.
He realizes that the balance of power in the Empire is measured by more than just military acumen or tactical efficiency. Even the greatest intellect can hardly compete with the power to annihilate entire planets. As Thrawn works to secure his place in the Empire hierarchy, I can never say that word. His former protege, Eli Vanto, who we did not see in the second book at all, returns with a dire warning about Thrawn's homeworld. Thrawn's mastery of strategy must guide him through an impossible choice: duty to the Chiss ascendancy or fealty to the Empire he's sworn to serve, even if the right choice means committing treason. Thrawn Treason will be available for pre-order next week and arriving on shelves in summer of 2019.
God, we gotta wait till the summer. Oh my God!
But that kind of holds steady for at the pace they've been releasing these novels.
I don't care. I want it now.
Yeah, because the last one
It's
came
my
out.
money, and I want it now.
It came out July last year, and I think the first Thrawn came out the July before that. So they're spacing them out by a year, which is pretty nice. But yeah,
I'm gonna pre-order the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got my variant cover of Thrawn Alliances, by the way. So fuck you to everybody who didn't go to the San Diego Comic-Con and get me a copy of that. I wonder if that's on eBay now.
I definitely didn't.
Yeah, I'll have to check eBay. But yeah, fucking Thrawn Alliances. And we talked about this. This was kind of a nice segue from last week's topic, because if you remember, we talked about the species of Star Wars. One of my selections was the Chiss. We talked about the Chiss ascendancy, the mystery behind them, some of the issues in the unknown regions that they know about. And it's all kind of tying together now with Thrawn and I guess them potentially needing his help. Like the shit's hitting the fan somewhere out in the unknown regions, and they're like, help us, Grand Admiral Thrawn, you're our only hope.
Well, I mean, we had to know that this was going to happen eventually, right? Because
Yeah.
there's no way that they could just leave this Chiss ascendancy out there and complete Thrawn's story without it somehow involving it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just really curious as to how it's going to go.
Yeah.
If Thrawn survives it.
Well, we know he will.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because this has to take place before Rebels. That's the unique thing about this story, unless they split
I didn't
it
really
up.
think of that. God damn.
Yeah, because now they could potentially split this up, and they could be like, part of it takes place before, part of it takes place after he gets shipped out by the whales. So,
oh my God, yeah, how the fuck are you going to do that?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting. So all we can do is fucking wait till the summer. But I know, I agree, Isaac Sipe. It's so far out. Now, why tease us with this now?
Well, and the funny thing is we're going to see Thrawn Treason long before we see Episode 9.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think the two things are mutually exclusive.
No, but I mean, it'll be a good way to whet our Star Wars appetite as we get ready for Episode 9. God. But yeah, it sucks we got to wait, but it's whatever. I mean, we really did just get Alliances last July. So it hasn't been that long. So August, September, October. Wait, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months ago, we just got Alliances.
Wow. We're really sharp tonight, guys.
I know. But yeah, super exciting. It actually forced me to watch your precious fucking Star Wars show. God, those hosts are so fucking annoying. Even the hot chick, she's still super fucking annoying. Like
it's the thing. That's what they do. You know what was really annoying is like, it's amazing that she still had like any hosting job with the Star Wars show after the Rebels wrap up or Rebels roundup, whatever the hell it was.
Sure.
Because that was like really like whatever writing was done for that was shit. It was absolute garbage.
Like as far as like her dialogue when she's talking.
And there was like this whole thing, and it's like, wow, you had 4 seasons to get that like at least hammered out to a point where I don't know, it was just bad. The contrast theory, the Rebels roundup to the Star Wars show is way better.
Oh, wow.
Like the production value is way better. So
yeah, and the production value is there. It's just I just don't like the personality of those two. I just don't. It really bugs me for some fucking reason.
I don't know.
So I don't know.
Maybe you just have hate in your heart.
Could be. But the funny thing is, they did earn some points with me today, because this latest episode of The Thing, after the Thrawn portion, they talked a little bit about, and you probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
I haven't watched it yet.
About the Shockmaster from WCW. Now, I know we've got some pro wrestling fans out there in our listening audience, but they actually mentioned the fucking Shockmaster from WCW in 1993 because you probably have no clue.
Nope.
So WCW was kind of like the second-rate wrestling
I know
company
what
back in the day.
WCW was.
And they signed some guy from WWF. He was a big guy, like big kind of fat guy, but he was a decent performer. And he was going to be like their big new star, right? They brought him over to their company and they were going to give him this new gimmick. He was going to be the Shockmaster, right? And part of his gimmick was he had a helmet on. And what they did was they took a fucking Stormtrooper helmet, an official Star Wars Stormtrooper helmet, painted it silver and put all kinds of like fucking glitter and shit on it. And that was his helmet as the Shockmaster. And the funniest part about that whole thing, like that's just ridiculous enough in itself. But his debut, they had him debut on some pay-per-view event, and he was supposed to like bust through this fucking wall and like walk through this opening in the hall or in the wall that he busted open. But there was a bar going across the bottom that wasn't broken out, and he fell right on his fucking face.
Oh my
live
God.
on TV as this is going on, and it killed his fucking character. It like before it ever started, like it was so bad. Like the other wrestlers that were there were like fucking laughing at him, and like immediately they changed his gimmick to where he was like a fucking bumbling idiot, where he was supposed to come in as like some big, strong, super powerful fucking guy. But the funny thing is that they mentioned that on the Star Wars show this week. So
that's okay, fair enough. It's a good
so you'll see it when you watch it.
Good reach. I liked Bronco Fett's WCW is the holiday special of wrestling.
He's not wrong. Yeah, he's not wrong, especially in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, it was something.
That's great.
So anyway, that's the big news. Anything else that you have to say about Thrawn besides
No.
the fact that you can't wait for it?
Oh, I just can't wait for it.
All right. Yeah, super excited. As we hear any more details, obviously we're going to mention them on the show, but I don't know what more we will hear leading up to it, honestly.
Probably not. I mean, we might be able to do some analysis, like maybe we do something in the lead up to when the book is released.
Yeah, kind of recap the first two books.
Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate. Just something to put on the horizon.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, moving on. Another piece of news happened this week.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
So this is episode 84.
C.
3PO. So 16 weeks, right, is basically what we got. So
until 100. Oh God, yes.
Until 100. So when's 16 weeks? 4 months. So
you're gonna make me.
That's April. So we'll be short. Never mind.
Fuck, I'm gonna be in California for 2 weeks in April. So
motherfucker,
we're gonna have to do some finagling. I think we might have to fudge the numbers a little bit to make it work out.
Whatever. Yeah, we'll fix it. We will fix that pre-post.
Yes.
Wait, that's not a thing. No, don't.
Right.
Fix that in post.
Oh my God, I don't know what's going on right now. Anyway, had another bit of Star Wars news happen this week. This is weird, and I want to have a conversation about this. So they announced this new series of animated shorts,
right.
Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures,
right,
which is going to be part of this whole new YouTube channel that Lucasfilm is creating called Star Wars Kids, or it's created. They're up now.
Right.
And it's basically sort of retelling these little pieces of the original trilogy in this new anime style animation, clearly geared for kids. I totally understand that before any of you guys, it's for kids. Why? It's not for you. I fucking get it. All right. So, but I'm watching this and I'm just like, what is the point of this?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to recreate a minute of the fucking original trilogy in these weird anime style shorts to try to appeal to kids? Like, just show them the fucking movies. That's enough to hook most kids on Star Wars. Like, I'm just trying to figure out why are they wasting these resources on something so odd like this?
Toys?
Are they making toys based off of this?
I don't know. I mean, you're asking me. My answer, honestly, is it's for kids.
Yeah.
And generationally speaking, like to get a kid to sit and watch something that like Star Wars. Yes, the Star Wars is intriguing once you can but you can't take a kid to the theater like it just like in 1977 Star Wars and just sit them down and well, maybe you have a captive audience in a theater. I don't know. I just feel like that this is a way to. Well, I think there's two things at play, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gearing this towards kids so that they have here's some flashy animation. Here's the animation style that's kind of picking back up again, like this anime style
Yeah.
is starting to really pick up. And it's not truly anime, but it has
It's
like this
closer to
kind of
anime than like the Resistance show is.
agreed. And I think that's in play. It's like, okay, let's try and capture this audience. But I honestly, I think what really it's doing is it's gearing people towards going towards a different media outlet. So
Yeah.
Star Wars Kids on YouTube begets Star Wars streaming service type it situation
Sure.
where it's like, okay, we're gonna put these little bits out there. Maybe there'll be something bigger that comes out of this.
And that's the only thing that I can think of because right now, like I said, they're a minute long.
Yeah.
Like there's like 7 of these up right now, and they're all a minute long.
They're like somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes.
And I think most of them are about
The official trailer was I didn't write down the time. So the official trailer was like 2 minutes, and then the excuse me, the man, that food was great, but boy, is between that and the Diet Coke, it is really generating some good Rick and Morty burps here.
Yeah.
Or Rick burps. No, they're like a minute 18, right around there. Yeah, they're right around a minute. But I don't know, they're just little shorts. I mean, they made a whole television series out of those Toy Story shorts. I mean,
Sure.
So Disney knows how to turn these shorts into something. I don't. And
Yeah.
honestly, what did it take for them to put this out? They already own. That brings up an interesting point. So they're using, like you said, they're using the dialogue from the movies, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're not re-recording dialogue with new actors or anything.
No.
They're just pulling the already recorded dialogue from the original trilogy and plopping them into the.
And they're cutting it a certain way too.
Sure, but I mean, it's clearly the shit that was recorded back in 77, 80, and 83.
Yeah. So, but saying that, we've had conversations in the past about like, does Disney truly own the original trilogy?
That would take more time to explain than we have right now. So
anyway, yeah. But here's my personal opinion on it. Like, it's obviously geared towards children there, Jason.
Right, but
God,
but why the 1 minute though? Like, do you really like? Is your opinion of today's kids so low that you're like, oh, they can only pay attention for a minute, and that's all we can have?
Perhaps.
Like,
I mean, honestly,
that's fucking stupid if that's their opinion of kids these days. I understand
they have a better grasp of kids than we do, Jason.
I have 3 fucking kids in that house right now that are all under the age of 17.
Yeah, but over the age of 10?
Yes.
So
I don't know. I don't think kids these days are that far gone yet.
I look in our sports podcast, we had this discussion about ESPN and Disney's ownership of ESPN, and they know how to market.
Yeah.
Like I would not question them in their marketing ability.
Yeah. I mean, they are a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yes.
So
they'll make far more money than we will ever see in 3 generations of us. But
yeah.
I will say that to the shows themselves, I broke them down each individually. I didn't know how you actually wanted to do this because you're like, make sure you watch this. I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ. The Darth Vader one, the Power of the Dark Side Darth Vader one, I think it's the second one.
Yeah.
I really like that.
That was the one that kind of started off at the end of Rogue One, right?
Yes.
Where he's like, and that was the thing. It was fucking dark. Like it was him like fucking force choking these guys and fucking
you're hearing the noises like throats cracking and shit like that. I'm like, whoa.
So I'm like, and this is for kids. This is what you're trying to do here. So
I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, it was good. And that's the thing. Like, I don't dislike these. I know they're geared for kids.
It's just a different way to look at it. The only thing I don't like about these, honestly, is the kid narrating it. Like he starts out with in the in the galaxy of whatever.
Yeah.
What is it
Galaxy
called?
of Adventure.
Yeah, in the Galaxy of Adventure, Luke Skywalker does this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And it's like this really kiddie, fucking annoying voice. And he's like, I actually put in one of my notes. Stop talking through the Imperial March. Like it was Darth Vader at Might of Empire, and the kid's like talking through the Imperial March. Like, stop it! I'm trying to enjoy this music. But it's John Williams' score. It's the voices that we know and love.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Star Wars. And some of it's actually kind of funny, like the Han Solo Chewbacca thing. The way it's animated, it's taking the voice and like acting it out in a different way. Sure. So I don't know. Whatever.
I guess really
it's a short blurb of entertainment. It's a taking a dump, you can get through the whole thing in one fucking session.
Yeah.
Type viewing.
Just my thing is just like, what is the point of it? Like, why am I watching this right now?
Isaac's sight backs me up. Says kids aren't as bright as they used to be.
Yeah, well,
Not as
Anyway,
bright as our kids are, Jason.
that is true. That is true. We raise good kids.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Do we want to move on to our week?
Yeah.
All right.
I wish I'd written something down for that.
So, well, I know you've got your thing to do that we'll get to.
Oh shit! Yeah, I brought things.
I kind of figured that's what was going to be your week.
Yes.
See, we're like this.
3 p.m.
All right. So, all right. For me, one of the big things that I've been doing this last week is I've been trying to give Battlefront 2 one last chance. They just had this last bit of DLC pop out free. All the Battlefront 2 DLC is free, by the way. So don't think that we're paying extra for this. And I played a couple of the maps. It was neat. And I'm trying to give it one last try. And I think we need to have a show at some point, maybe in the next couple of months, where we give it one final push for Battlefront 2 just to see if there's anything salvageable in it, even though I know our love is for Battlefront 1.
Battlefront.
Yes.
It's not Battlefront 1, it's Battlefront.
Whatever. I don't give a shit. So
don't fucking treat it wrong.
Right. But
because you can't read or talk.
And I'll save most of my analysis for that. They did bring back a sort of partner start. I know that was one of our biggest areas of contention, but only in the Galactic Assault mode.
I played the Galactic Assault today. After I saw the notes that you were playing it, I loaded it up. I played 2 maps on Galactic Assault before I left the house, and I played 1 round of Blast. I mean, Blast is Blast. That still sucks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was gonna say, like, Blast is a lost cause in Battlefront 2. It really is. And I feel like most of their focus is on the Galactic Assault. So maybe we'll play a bunch of those maps and kind of
just give it a shot, see how this, because there is like a squad spawning thing. So you can go in between players and you can spawn on them.
Yes.
So potentially that could, if we can get into that a little bit, maybe that can turn into something.
Because I would imagine, like, if you and I are partners, then we'll always be able to have that option to partner start with each other. Because I think, because if you remember when the game first came out, it would be you die and then you go to that screen where it's your character and then you see 2 other
to be like, oh, let's go. Oh yeah, we're ready.
So they've replaced that with this partner start. So those 3 guys that would normally just spawn with you, now you have the option to potentially partner start with those guys.
It actually reminds me of Battlefield. So in Battlefield you can go in between the squadron and spawn on them, or you can spawn from a generic spot.
Right, and that's exactly what this is.
So it might be good. It might be good. My problem with playing it today, I played the Galactic Assault, and I was like, yeah, okay. I was into it long enough to play another round, but I still don't like the field of view being so narrow. I think that's a big that's a big bone of contention for me with that game.
Yeah,
I played the Tatooine one where you're doing, like, basically it's almost like a domination thing where you have to go and you take back the cantina and take back the junkyard and shit like that.
Yeah.
So there is what they did for Galactic Assault is they actually have a lot more environmental interaction in a Galactic Assault than, oh man, I'm beating the shit out of this right now. Than in the regular Blast maps. Like the Blast map itself is very static. Like the environment's very static. Whereas in the Galactic Assault, like there's civilians running by you in areas, and there's like a lot more environmental things. But the coloring is off to me compared to Battlefront. The graphics aren't as good, and the narrow field of view. I mean, Battlefront's just a more aesthetically pleasing experience, and obviously we know the gameplay. But I'm willing to give it, hey, if we get a chance to log on and I'm not fucking drowning in homework and shit.
Yeah, and my thing is, let's not even look at Blast at this point. Let's try the other game.
We'll play Galactic Assault. Do that squad spawning. See if we can make that work for us. Get Brady. I know Brady's out there, and whoever else is, in the cantina, the Sidebar Cantina wants to participate, and they have Battlefront 2. God damn it. Too many buzz.
Yeah. What? Oh, you want to know what time it is? Hold on, let me check. Oh, it's 7:40 right now.
He's so gay.
So did I show you this face?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So
it's not his O face.
Yeah, you can't really see it on the fucking YouTube video.
Not at all.
But just a few days ago, I picked up my very first Apple Watch. So I got the new Apple Watch 4, and it is pretty amazing. It's got the whole the cell inside, the cell phone and the GPS and all that. So I can do fucking everything from this thing. I got a set of Bluetooth headphones, and I could make a phone call, crystal clear phone call, can text people, can send you money through Apple Pay, all from my fucking watch. you gotta love the way technology is moving now.
Oh yeah, it's
so
fucking fantastic. It's better than Dick Tracy at this point.
yeah. So,
I'm an Apple iPhone guy, and I won't get the Apple Watch. I just won't. It's a big white blur, dude. Just forget it.
Well, I'm trying to show the people the All Things Star Wars logo as a watch face. So one thing I want to do for anybody out there that does get one, I think we should attempt to make a custom All Things Star Wars Apple Watch face.
Sure.
For our listeners, that'll be a free download you can just pick up on the Cantina. We just need somebody with really good Photoshop skills.
If only we knew somebody.
I know. And really, you don't even have to have that good of skills. You just have to be able to change the resolution of a picture and, orient the logo and then leave space for the clock and all that stuff. If only we know somebody.
If only.
Right.
I won't. As I was starting to say, like, I am all things Apple, and there's a lot of capability the Apple Watch has that I'm excited about. However, it's fucking square. I can't wear a square watch.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. If they came out with a round version of that, I'd be all over it. I mean, because I have a Garmin Phoenix, right? And it shows me shit. I can't interact with it physically. It won't play music. But it has a built-in GPS. I can fucking swim in it. I can kayak in it. I don't have to worry about banging it around because it doesn't have a touchscreen, like, glass touchscreen. I got to worry about scratching up. So I could wear this thing almost like it's a G-Shock, and the battery lasts fucking 7 to 10 days, depending on if I go on a golf course with it, because it has a full golf integration.
Nice.
And I know the Apple Watch has a lot of those things too, but it's fucking square. Watches weren't meant to be square, people. They were not.
This is not an issue for me because my last watch, my Fitbit Blaze, was also square.
Yeah,
so
that's why I got rid of the Fitbit Blaze, because it was square. I couldn't fucking handle it anymore. Yeah.
Old man doesn't like change. So moving on, I got a couple more points for my week. Next is
That was part of your week?
Yeah. Well, it's related to Star Wars. I've got like 3 Star Wars faces. I've got the All Things Star Wars face on here.
Anyway.
So Dave's dead. We killed him.
Dump button.
Anyway, we finished booking our Disney vacation for April. Ooh. So yeah, my family and I were going to Disney. We're going to be in the park for a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I got to give huge props to Disney for giving military really good fucking discounts on their rooms, because we upgraded this time for what we're doing, because as anybody who's listened to the podcast for any amount of time, I was gone for 9 months,
right?
Basically. And when you are TDY for that long in the military, you tend to rack up a lot of extra pay. And I got a huge fucking chunk of money back when I got back from all of this stuff. So we decided we're going to go all out. And I'm thinking, okay, we'll get, average rooms at one of the hotels on the Disneyland property. But we knew that they had these special rooms, the club level rooms, as they're called. And looking up on their website, they're like $1,300 a night for the club level rooms, standard price. I called them up. I'm like, hey, you guys gave us a military discount when we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel last time. Do you guys do military discounts on these rooms? And they're like, oh yeah, let me get you this. Click, click, click. Like 60% off for military. So I'm like, you know what? It's still going to be like $700 a night, but I got all of this money from being gone for 9 months. I'm trying to basically, take my family on a really nice vacation. So, to kind of pay them back for, putting up with all this shit without me for 9 months. So this is really kind of like my payback for them. And it's just a good way for us to all spend some really fun time together. So yeah, we're staying like 7 nights in the fucking club level of the Grand Californian on the Disneyland property. It's like from me to about the trees outside that door is from like where the hotel ends to where the entrance to the park is.
Wow.
Or one of the entrances to the park. And it's going to be fucking phenomenal with all the extra shit you give at the club level. It's like, there's like a fucking dessert buffet every night. There's like fucking continental breakfast every morning. There's like wine and cheese in the afternoons. It's all kinds of shit. Like when Kristen was reading me like the list of shit, I'm like, there's no fucking way we can afford that. If Disneyland on the property is serving fucking wine and cheese with your room, then this thing is going to be way out of our price range. And at the normal price range, it was for sure. Like there's no goddamn way I'm paying $1,300 a night,
right,
for a fucking, it doesn't matter. Like they could suck my dick every night. And I'm not going to pay that much. So, but at like 60% off for military, fuck yes, book it.
That's awesome.
And again, huge props to Disney for doing this, because not only do they do like discounts for their properties, they've got the Shades of Green down in Florida.
Yep.
And
I've stayed there 3 different times.
Yeah, and they sell super discounted tickets actually for the park for both Disneyland and Disney World.
Yep.
So
and you can get them right there too. I know at Shades of Green, you'd actually be able to go in Shades of Green and pick up your tickets,
Mhm.
you know, and not have to pay anything additional. Or you can get your tickets at almost any base in the country's around or outdoor rec or MWR or whatever they call it on the base you're on. But you can go in there and they'll have Disney tickets available.
Mhm.
You know, I think they only get a certain amount of them, so they sell out fairly quickly. But
Sure, yeah.
it gives you an opportunity that you can have them in hand when you get down
Mhm.
there. So that's fantastic. Yeah, I agree. Disney has treated us very well. That Shades of Green property is really, really cool.
Mhm.
But you have to book it in, like, if you want to be there in October, you better be booking it in February.
Yeah, I believe
because
it.
it fills up quick.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that if I hadn't booked this stuff now, then it wouldn't have been as cheap or as available.
Yeah,
You know,
you got to plan ahead for shit like that.
Yeah. So, and this is in April. So, Dave's having a spell. But yeah, so mid-April is when we're going. We're going to be in California for 2 weeks. 1 week, an entire week of that is going to be at Disneyland, which is going to be fucking phenomenal. So
the real question is, as phenomenal as it's going to be, is Star Wars Land going to be open by then?
Probably not. Word is it's probably going to open for the summer, and we're going to be there for the spring. So womp womp. But it's really the only time we can go, because California in the summer, there's no way I'm going to walk around a fucking theme park. You know,
what are you talking about? I did Universal Studios in July.
Yeah, there's not much to do there.
Well, we were only there for 2 days, so we were there for longer, but that was another. You talk about military like discounts and hookups. Like Universal Studios was a big one.
Yeah,
we bought a season pass for all 4 of us, which would basically have been the same price as buying one ticket.
Yeah,
for 1 day entry. Yep. So we were able to go in 2 days and pretty much do everything there was to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah, which is nice. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with it. Oh yeah, Star Wars Land probably won't be open, but if it is opening during the summer, then everything should be complete. So if nothing else, I should be able to get some really good pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I get Rob to stand on your shoulders, or maybe vice versa. He might be bigger than you by then, like bigger physically, since he's doing so well in the gym.
And maybe the last day I'll just hop the fence and I'll just
go for it.
Yeah,
fuck it.
Yeah.
Get arrested by Disney jail and be in Disney handcuffs.
Yeah, how bad could it be, right? So
you'll look like Donald Duck with the fucking when he's got the prisoner outfit on.
Yeah.
And the ball and chain attached to his ankle. I'd pay for that picture. I really would.
That would be great. So the last bullet I have for my week is,
excuse me,
my son's 16th birthday was last week. And one of the only things that he wanted was to go to White Castle. White Castle still exists here up in the Northeast, very sparsely. I think they're primarily in like New York and stuff, but we've got at least 2 in New Jersey that I'm aware of. So he's been saying this for months. All he wants is White Castle.
My question is why? Like, did he watch Harold and Kumar's or something?
No, he's never seen it. That's the funny thing is I'm like, God. Oh, what did you watch Harold and Kumar lately? He's like, no,
what is that?
I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But he really wanted it. Like, I think he just heard about the sliders, heard that you could get like, 30 burgers for like, $10. And he's like, ooh, I want to do that. Because he's kind of a foodie. One of the reasons why I've been forcing him to go to the gym, honestly, because he's been,
but he's doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing good at the gym.
Yeah. And that's a whole other story. But anyway, so I told him, all right, we'll go to White Castle. My wife and my 2 younger kids did not want to get in the car to drive an hour and a half just to go get fast food and then an hour and a half back. So I told Rob, hey, if you want to bring a couple of your friends, I'll pay for all of your guys' food. We'll go up there and come back and happy birthday. And he brought 2 of his friends, and one of them is his friend Anthony that we talked about on the show that's been listening to the podcast.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, he and I were having some really good Star Wars conversations. He sat up in the front seat while the other 2 kids sat in the back, and he and I were having a whole bunch of good
Star Wars gets to ride in the front.
Yeah, exactly. And has a really fun conversations with him about Star Wars. And funny thing is he's a huge Clone Wars fan. He loves the Clone Wars era, loves the Clone Wars show, all of that stuff. He never finished Rebels. I'm like, what are you talking about? Finish fucking Rebels. But anyway, he's been listening to the podcast, and I just kind of assumed he'd be listening to current episodes and then kind of going back and listening to old episodes when he can. No, he's started with episode 1, and he's like binging us.
His vernacular is going to change dramatically over a few weeks.
Yeah, so he probably won't hear this for like 6 months. So, Anthony, thanks again. It was good talking to you at White Castle 6 months ago. And shout out again.
Future Anthony.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for that. And that's my week in a nutshell.
Very, very informative and complete.
And almost all Star Wars related.
So except for I guess your Apple Watch is kind of Star Wars related.
Because we got my Battlefront face, my All Things Star Wars face, and then my Stormtrooper face.
All right, nobody cares. Nobody cares because it's not round.
Right.
So so those of you who follow us on Instagram know that I've been, or I was, up until it's funky how it's set up. So
sure.
This is the Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar, which last year Jason had.
Yep.
Kristen got him. My wife Kathleen, my lovely wife Kathleen, who I know is listening right now because she's giving me the thumbs ups on the thing and making sure. Yes, I will talk about that. Anyway, so I missed day 4 yesterday, and I didn't do day 5 today because I figured we're taping a podcast. So I figured I'd do these 2 days now on the show, because why not? We have a fucking Star Wars podcast. Why not do the Advent Calendar on the Star Wars podcast? So what I'm going to do is
we're doing it live.
We're doing it live. So I'm going to move this out of the way without spilling it.
And sorry, Dale, we missed you, but hello and I guess goodbye, Dale, because he hopped in and then had to hop out. So
I thumbs upped him.
Okay.
Well, see, I was paying attention.
I was talking a lot,
Jason,
so
it's very rare for you, honestly. I'm usually the one that's doing that. So we are going to. I'll mention that on the podcast.
Who are you talking to?
My wife. Oh God, hang on a second. It's a shame I didn't see this text before we did the sports podcast.
Oh, that's great.
I can't even.
Yeah.
It's not for this podcast for sure. Probably not for being on air, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. So
I still need a job for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Right. So Jesus, that guy was the former IG.
Oh, that's great.
All right. So we are going to go live. Now, remember, this is what I didn't realize on Instagram, like that this only did a minute of video when it posted. Right. So it just so happens like the first one I did, it like cut off right when I was finishing a sentence. So it worked out.
Yeah.
So, but now that I know that, now it's kind of like a rush. So we're going to do this live.
Yep.
And I'm going to have you film.
Okay.
Do you know how to do it?
Point the fucking camera where
I want. So you have to hold down the button.
Like the whole time I'm filming, I have to hold down. That's fucking so you hold stupid.
It's mimicking a Snapchat thing. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Fuck
I don't know.
Snapchat.
I don't know anything about Snapchat. So legitimately. So we're gonna you got to hold it like this though, because if you do the selfie mode, like there's Jason. If you do the selfie mode, apparently everything is backwards, which nobody told me. I just happened to watch back on. I'm like, everything's backwards. What the fuck? Yeah. Nobody said anything. So
weird.
Thanks for being polite, I guess. I don't know.
So if I hold it like this, okay, and then I'm seeing you. So you tell me when to hold down the button.
I focus on the Advent calendar. No one wants to see my dumb ass.
All right. Tell me when to go. This is fucking riveting for the audio audience, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. Why not? Go to Instagram. You can see the video, like it, share it, do things.
And it's gonna go live as soon as I start holding down this fucking button.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. No, it's not gonna go live. It's gonna tape the video, and then we'll post the video.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Are you recording?
Don't record.
All right. All right. Ready, set, go. All right. Are we going?
Yes.
All right. Day 40 Advent Calendar live on the All Things Star Wars podcast while we're taping. If you're watching on YouTube, we already went through this. So day 4, I'm going to poke and rip. What we got? Ooh, looks like a cannon.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Release the button.
All I can see is your fucking...
My ham hock?
Yeah.
All right.
So we can continue at this point?
Yeah. So if you push down again, I'm teaching Jason how to film on Instagram.
Yeah.
So are you holding it?
Yeah.
So there it is. That's what day 4 is.
All right, day 4, and that is the bag of.
Yep. And we'll put this together later.
That will eventually become that.
All right, let go. How much is left?
26 seconds.
All right. So we'll do day 5. I know. Sorry, guys. Maybe Jason can edit this out for the podcast.
Yeah,
But
I should probably take a note of the time.
Yeah, whatever.
Note the time.
All right. So ready?
Yes.
Ready, set, go. Day 5.
Day 5.
Quickly. Oh, I ripped it.
And
it's a character. Who is
a
it?
Guy. It's just a person. It's like
just a
person.
guy.
Who the fuck is that?
All right.
Move your thumb.
It's random guy.
What the fuck? Sorry, are you allowed to curse on these on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. What the fuck? I don't know. What is this? Show me the bag. Quick. 3 seconds. 2.
It's Cassian.
What? Ah, okay.
All right. And we're clear. All right. So discard clips. No. What did you do?
I just press the button.
Yes. All right. So
how is this my fault? That's what I want to know.
Operating the camera. God damn, you run a podcast? So anyway, get yourself one of these. They're really cool. They're really fun. There you go. One other thing, my cousin Connor, my nephew Connor, went to the Five Below. Hello there. Wait, that was more George Sakai than it was Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that was a little more of a creepy. Hello there.
Wait, sorry. Working my voices.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah. So it's a 16-month 2019 calendar.
Oh, it's not just an Obi-Wan calendar.
It's not Obi-Wan all sexy poses trying to earn sexy points.
I would buy that calendar. Hello there.
Hello there.
And it has to be like no, again, you're doing the wrong voice.
Yeah, shit. I gotta work on that.
It's
Obi-Wan's not my thing.
So every time you flip it, hello there.
Okay, we get it.
Yes.
You already beat it to death. Thank you. So anyway, thanks Connor for picking this out, and thanks to his grandmother for actually paying for it.
Yep. All of the classic characters.
Yep.
And BB-8.
And I actually went through with him, and he was able to identify a good amount of the characters. He's also become infatuated with Battlefront, the original one.
Ooh.
Yeah, he likes the heroes battles. So,
nice.
I think the plan is to procure one of those for him, because I could probably get it at GameStop for what, $4 when we were investigating it. Yeah. So get him one of those really quickly. Yeah. And cool. So what else? Oh, probably the biggest event in the Martin household over the past week was the procurement of a puppy.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, we got ourselves a boxer adore.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Listen. So we go to this animal shelter in PA, right? We're supposed to be. My daughter Kate, God love her, she has been going absolutely bananas, like puppy. Like, you got finals coming up, kid. Fucking focus here.
Yeah.
Like sending me nonstop texts of puppies and all this other thing. So she browbeats my wife and I. I think my wife was in cahoots with all this too. Like, I think she was pretending to resist, but I don't believe her.
Okay.
So, and I'm like, I'm been warming to it. I was like dead set against it. I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's this German Shepherd puppy, because I grew up with German Shepherds. I really love them.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a German Shepherd. Like, oh yeah, well, let's just stop at this one near the school, right? So we're dropping her off, and we stop at this place, and there was a pen that had a couple puppies in it. We only saw the paws of one. And the other one was named Luna. It had like this, it's the same breed of dog, but had like these bright blue eyes, like appropriately named, right, if you're a Harry Potter fan. So, neither am I. So we walked around. We saw one dog. It was cute. It was real timid. It was a little older too. And then, my daughter's like, oh, we want to see this. The puppy with the name was Mocha.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, bring Mocha in, right? And they bring this puppy in, and it's just like, holy shit, look at how cute this thing is. Like, it was just so fucking adorable, and it was like in there and like playing with it a little bit. And it's like, fuck. And then Kathy was like, all right, we're buying it. Let's go. Wow. And she takes off. She's like, all right, I'm going to get the paper signed. I'm like, okay. Right. And so yeah, we're driving home from Pennsylvania with a puppy.
Nice.
So, she's so fucking cute. She's 2 months old. The boxer door we're deciphering from like looking at puppies online.
Sure.
Like taking guesses at what we think
so
it is. Because the shelter had no fucking clue.
Yeah.
But with the what's it called? The bridle. Do you know what that is? I didn't either. Is it bridle? Is my wife online here? I don't know. Something to do with the coloring. Really just adorable fucking animal. And I can't go back in the chat until I post this. So
okay.
Yeah, that was the big thing. So like every day, so it's puppy time, right? We haven't had a puppy in 6 years,
Yeah.
right? Easily. So it's like, oh God, like so she's been sleeping on the couch. I've been trying to sleep at night, and I get up early, and we try and like swap off. But she's been like having other dogs. I mean, you've been through this with Indy.
Yeah.
Um, having another dog around to kind of show the other dog the way, like, oh, this is how things work. This is how we go downstairs. We go outside and do that shit.
Uh-huh.
I think it's been brilliant, honestly.
Great.
It's just been she's settled in really well. And yeah, so it's been puppy time at the house.
Nice.
Yet another distraction for me to not do my homework.
Sure.
Which is really what happened today. I mean, I can bullshit and say it was like, oh, I was doing important stuff, Empire stuff, right?
Yeah.
No, not even a minute. It was like, oh, I'm gonna go play with the dog. It's like, oh, do you have to go outside? I'm like, oh, it's snowing out. I'm like, yeah, let's go outside. Boom, take the dog outside, goof around. It's just been so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be this is kind of like, as I view it, as my kind of therapy dog, like a dog that'll go out and hike around, and I can like put some miles on.
Yeah.
Keep me paced a little bit to get me outside a little bit, because our other two dogs, they're good dogs. They're good dogs. We have a lab has the energy level of, I don't know, an older dog.
Mhm.
She really like gets energetic about going outside, but after being outside for 15 minutes is all right, I'm done with this. And the 12-year-old, well, the dog that turns 12 in a week, she's got some energy, but she's a child. She's like a middle-aged woman. And it's like, I'm fine. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to sit on the chair that I'm not supposed to be sitting on. And what are you going to do about it? There's such an attitude problem. So and they're warming to the puppy as much as they can. But yeah, so it's puppy time in the Martin house.
Nice.
So that was the big thing for the week.
Cool.
A couple things. Honestly, that's probably why the advent calendar kind of fell by the wayside. I debuted. Her name is Holly.
Yeah.
Her middle name is Ray.
Okay.
That was my wife's.
Her suggestion.
Yes.
Nice. Very cool. Well, good call, Kathy.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it's been fun.
Nice. And so even with the day off today, you didn't get the homework.
I didn't know.
Yeah. And rest in peace, George H.W. Bush. I think he was kind of like the last president from the era before politics became so fucking just nasty and vicious. And
it's tough to say. I mean,
look, my memories going back thinking about presidents it wasn't like, oh, George Bush, he was the president, that was it. It was just, there was no, oh, he's that fucking Republican, or he's that fucking this, or he's that, and blah blah blah. That shit didn't start until Clinton got in office. And then when he got in office, that's when like the shit really started with him against the Republicans and like just all this other fucking shit. And then like politics went downhill from there.
Yeah. Well, or certain things escalated.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Hey, 94 years old. I think that the one key factor to remember is with George Herbert Walker Bush is that he's the last combat veteran.
Yeah.
To have served as president.
Yeah.
And hopefully with all the veterans that are coming out of this long war, that hopefully he won't be the last.
Yeah, but he'll be the last World War II veteran.
He will be.
Yeah. So that was
the greatest generation is unfortunately moving on. So anyway, yeah, thank you, Mr. President, for the very impromptu day off. It caused a lot of scrambling around for schedules and things like that. And but deservedly so. It's good to have a recognition and hand salute.
Yep, indeed. So moving on to our main topic this week, let's go ahead and get this rolling. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, we're a year out now from, because it is December now. This is our first show in December, right? Yeah, because it's the 5th. So being our first show in December, we are exactly a year away now from episode 9, essentially. A year and maybe a week. So the countdown is officially on for episode 9 for all intents and purposes. They've been filming it since the summer. I think they're wrapping primary photography here in the next month or so.
Wow.
So they've already got some footage in the can. This is about the point where they were at when Force Awakens was being produced back in 2014. So a lot of talk about a potential trailer with the footage that they already have shot. So we don't know yet. There's tons of speculation, but we figured why not? Let's take a trip back to a time long past, 2014, and then into 2015, and take a look at the trailers from The Force Awakens as we were getting ready for this new trilogy to come out. You know, there was a lot of information that we knew. We knew the original cast was coming back and not much more. And we knew it was taking place like 30 years later, but that was it. And we
And
knew
those were big things in and of themselves.
oh, of course. Yeah. Don't discount that at all. Like,
Mhm.
and at this point, we didn't know much because they were keeping all this shit close to the vest, as you kind of have to with these Star Wars movies. You really do to avoid spoilers and whatnot. So, any little nuggets of information that we got were huge, especially when it was this first footage that was released. And I mentioned this in a previous episode of the podcast. 2015 was the best fucking time to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, it was
so good, with Force Awakens just being this great thing on the horizon coming at the end of the year. All this little bits of information that were trickling out piece by piece. In addition to that, the fucking novels and the games and the comics, and it was all things Star Wars in 2015.
Yes,
We'll
it
just say
was.
that. And God, it was so fucking great. And we actually got the first trailer for The Force Awakens in November, like the last couple of days of November in 2014. But before we get into that, I wanted to have a little conversation starter. And that was, what makes a good Star Wars trailer? Because really, a trailer for a Star Wars movie can't just be like a regular old trailer for any other movie out there, right?
Mhm.
So most trailers are normally a way to let the people know, like, hey, this is a movie that's being made and it's coming out next summer. So this is why you should go see that. Because Star Wars fans know that these movies are in production. Whereas
fuck yeah.
Whereas most average moviegoers don't know that they're making, Fast and the Furious that's coming out next week or whatever. That shit isn't like stuff that's reported on years in advance. Really, Star Wars.
Yeah, because who gives a shit? Honestly.
Exactly. Star Wars and maybe like the Harry Potter movies were the only franchises, and I guess the Marvel too, where people know about the shit way in advance. But even more so than like Marvel or Harry Potter, like the Star Wars shit is stuff that they have to have tight control on, especially like what they push out there. And you see that in these Force Awakens trailers, because after you watch these trailers and then knowing what actually happens in the movie, you can see how they kept a lot of shit really close to the vest. They didn't want to play their hand too much. And I guess my question for you is, what do you think? What makes a good Star Wars trailer?
So, being a good boy today, I actually wrote notes and typed them out.
Holy shit, look at you.
So, yeah, and I'll let you read some of the comments on here that I probably won't say on the air, but the for this I had 2 words: Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? What makes a good Star Wars trailer? Now, saying that, I in prep for this, since I was already on YouTube and I had a sleeping puppy in my lap, I went in and watched. There's a couple of trailers, like Star Wars trailers, all of them, right? So you can kind of watch all the trailers.
Oh, from like every movie?
Every one of them. It's like 20 minutes worth of trailers, right? The bad thing about the one I did watch was that it had a fucking special edition New Hope one. Was the New Hope one. I'm like, fuck you, the fucking special edition. But anyway. So watching all those, so they did an episodic order, right? And not including the Solo.
Right. So they started with Phantom Menace.
They started with Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Watching them like in sequence, Phantom Menace was like, oh man, I think the only reason Phantom Menace you can get excited about it certainly wasn't about the trailer.
Right.
I mean, obviously we had our excitement and our build-up because, hey, this is a new Star Wars movie after so long, right? But the trailer and the way the trailer was put together was just like, it's in contrast to what we're looking at now and what we're getting ready to talk at length about for these 3 trailers. It's such an inferior product.
Yeah.
Episode 1, episode 2 to episode 3, because in those episodes, there's too much talking over what's going on. They're given like this like blow by blow of like things that are upcoming, and it gives you too much of the movie, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, you think so?
I do. Okay. For episode 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Production wise, probably episode 3 was closer to what we're used to seeing, but then there was too much diatribe. Go to like they did a special edition fucking Star Wars thing, and it was like I don't know. I just basically tuned it out.
Yeah.
So then they had the original Empire Strikes Back one, and again, we're talking about and this came out in 1979. This trailer had come out. So at the time when movie trailers were coming out, it was probably fitting to what it was. Like, here, we have to really give a good description. We have to say more during this because we're not going to show that much imagery.
Yeah.
Whereas episode 1, 2, and 3, they showed a lot of imagery, still talked over it. And today's standards, like looking at the imagery going like, okay, those CGI effects sucked.
Yeah.
Like, in contrast to like the way it was, the way it was cut, like, just is not as good as we're used to seeing. The things that we're used to now, since The Force Awakens. So, and then all the way up to Return of the Jedi, it's kind of the same ilk. The Force Awakens started a very favorable trend of how they started to tease the teaser concept for a Star Wars fan is definitely like a main focus of these trailers.
Sure, yeah.
And leading you on. Like, I think J.J. Abrams with The Force Awakens, and we could talk about it a little bit more, but I'll talk about it now.
Yeah.
The J.J. Abrams started a trend where it's like, I'm going to make this Star Wars fan think this is going a certain way.
Yeah.
And then when the movie comes out, I'm going to completely throw them off. And it wasn't something. We could get into your post about the Last Jedi, or your Kelly Tran post, but Kelly, was it Kelly Marie
Tran?
Yeah. We can talk about that later, but I think the Last Jedi, when we talk about expectation and everything else, if you listen to the podcast, you already know all about that. So, but with Force Awakens, because we weren't gun shy about it because it was so far away. And when this first trailer came out, it was like, this is different.
Yeah.
This is not what we saw with the episode 1, 2, and 3. There's a lot of inferred, and everything's inferred or implied.
Right. Because again, we were given zero details up to this point.
Right.
We knew that Daisy Ridley was cast as a primary character, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, but we didn't know shit about them. Don't know anything about their characters. Don't know nothing at this point. All we know is that these actors are in this movie.
And we had this photograph is what they initially came out with when they did the casting.
Oh, the table read?
Yeah, the table reading photograph where you saw all these people. No, Kate. I'm not. Oh, let's FaceTime with Kate. Let's do that.
All right.
Hi, Kate. You're on the podcast.
Hello.
Hi. Do I have enough money in my account to buy sushi?
Probably not. This is riveting for the audience, by the way. You couldn't at least been a little bit more exciting than that?
Can you check for me?
Are you in the sushi place right now? Or are you at school? Didn't I just load your account?
It looks like the commissary sushi.
The sushi doesn't have the discount.
How much do they charge for college sushi?
$8.49.
God damn. That's more than the commissary.
I don't know. You're the one who loaded the account.
Okay. No, I'm at my USAA.
Oh, I'll check it.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye. Riveting.
A day in the life of the Martin family, folks.
Right? Yeah, having kids in college is fucking expensive.
I'm sure it is. So I'm just going to tell my kids not to go. I think that'll work out for the best. While you're checking her account, kind of piggybacking on what we were saying. Yeah, we had zero information at this point. We had no screenshots, no nothing. Just we knew who was in it, and that was it. Didn't know dick about the storyline. So when we finally got this first trailer in November of 2014, it was fucking insane because I'm sure you were in the same boat. I easily have watched this trailer 100 times. Easily. Because when this came out, all I would watch is over and over again.
So which trailer are you talking about?
I'm talking the first teaser.
First teaser. Okay.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? You know, was the only dialogue that we got in that one, by the way. Right. So, and why don't we just go ahead and hop into this one then and kind of transition into that?
Right.
So it's this first trailer that was released November of 2014. It's about 1.5 minutes long.
1 minute, 38 seconds.
Yeah, it is a very, very short teaser. And it starts with that image of the desert, which that was one thing that we were kind of led to believe is, we're going back to Tatooine, right?
Right. So saying that though, before we get any further than that, right, kind of breaking it, because I kind of broke it into sections.
Sure.
In each one of these trailers, there's about almost 12 seconds of almost dead silence. So it shows the preview green thing that you're used to seeing. And then there's black screen leading into whatever happens.
Yes.
So in this one, we get the 12 seconds of silence. Then you have a black screen, and all of a sudden, what we would naturally believe, just like you just did, would be Tatooine.
Yeah.
So I just thought this goes to what I was saying about like how well this is cut and how well this is edited, because every single thing, every single piece of that, like everything transitions really well. The voiceover dialogues are like just are really good. These are not adjectives that are adequately described. You know,
well,
I'm not as infatuated with the first teaser as you are. We'll get to my.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to talk about this first teaser first, because I did find it like super fascinating. And you mentioned the black screens and the way it was cut. Half of this trailer is a fucking black screen.
Yeah.
But it's done so well the way they do it. Because, like we said, starts off with that desert shot. Everybody's seen this at this point. Finn's head pops up, boom, and then we get right into the John Williams score.
Right. But before you get there, did you notice that when Finn's head pops up, the probe droid,
the sound of the probe droid,
probe droid's in the background.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's in the movie or not, but I legitimately, when I was watching it today, that's my text tone, and I thought my phone was going off. I'm like, what the fuck was that? No, I watched the trailer, and I watched it again and heard it again at the same spot. I'm like, that was not my phone.
Yeah.
And then I went back a couple times, like, what the fuck? That's in the background.
Yeah. I noticed. I recall noticing that back in the day too, but just having no frame of reference for the actual movie, thinking, okay, well, we're gonna hear a probe droid. So yeah, I don't think we ever did in Force Awakens, which
I don't think so either.
You know, it's whatever. It was
silent,
but it was nice. It was a nice.
Actually, no, you figure in the movie, he wakes up and he's in basically the ejection seat.
Yeah.
So not standing up like that.
No,
I mean,
I think
he transitions to that stand-up sequence, but it's not like the
yeah, that's not his initial wake up from the crash. But and you mentioned the black screens. I think the black screen portions are great because of the music that's going on at that same time. And that's what made this trailer fucking awesome for me, was the John Williams score. It's that real fast violin. I don't know what that was from in the original trilogy, that piece of music, but it was definitely the John Williams, and it was that real fast-paced violin, and it was just quick flashes to all of these scenes that seemed like danger was imminent. It was like this real like sense of urgency, or sense of danger that was going on.
Yeah, that's a theme, because you get the Finn pop up, and he's got that like that like panicked look on his face.
Yep.
Like he's running from something, or he's in danger.
Yep.
And then we look next, and it's
BB. It goes to BB-8.
Yeah, it's BB-8 running from something. Like he's moving to the left.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something I noticed, and this is something my daughter like picks out of things, like, because she's in this telecommunications thing. So like everything has a reason, right? Every frame shot has a reason.
Sure.
Like, oh, they move left to do this, or they look right to do that, and that shit. So I'm like looking at it for that shit. And if you notice, like BB-8's scurrying across, going to the left.
Yep.
Rey is jumping onto the speeder, like with that panic look on her face, jumping on a speeder, taking off, going to the left.
Yep.
And then you get the stormtroopers,
like and the fucking
attacking, getting ready to
they're fucking D-Day ships.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
they're Higgins boats.
Yeah, and they I like this whole opening sequence with like the fast violins, the black screens transitioning, and the best part was the fucking the Normandy shot, because it was black screen, and then you see the fucking boom, the door open, and all the stormtroopers like getting ready to go out, which you would think like, fuck, they're about to like storm the fucking beaches of Naboo or something, Nah, come to find out, they're just hitting up this little defenseless village. But still,
I have something for that after we're done talking about all three trailers.
Okay. So yeah, but it really gives you this sense of urgency, like fucking shit is going down, with the way the music is, the way they're doing these quick flashes, and that scene with Rey where it looks like she jumps on the speeder and she's like beating feet out of there. You don't really see that shot in the final movie, where it looks like she's like fucking running from something or like beating feet to get to something.
Yeah, Rey, that scene, like the way she was dressed and like that look and getting on the speeder and taking off, that was not in the movie.
Yeah.
There was a couple, like the Kylo Ren scene.
Yeah, when you don't see that.
That's not in the movie.
Yeah, we saw that in a couple of previews, that him actually walking up, boom, pulling out the lightsaber, igniting it. You hear that happen in the background in the actual movie.
Right.
It's Rey and Finn running up, and you hear in the background.
Yeah, he's already gotten ahead of them.
Yeah.
And he's in the darkness.
And
lights
then
up
and
the
then the
lightsaber.
camera pans over, and he's already standing in that position with the lightsaber.
Well,
ignited.
actually, I don't think it's the same scene because this one in the trailer, his hood is up. When he's out in the woods, his hood is down.
True.
And he doesn't really indicate that he has the wound either in that shot. I think it's a completely different shot.
Could be.
But
that could be part of that whole deleted scene where he went to the Millennium Falcon on Starkiller Base.
perhaps.
So anyway, but yeah, didn't see
Attention
that in
to
the final
detail.
two. But yeah, that was a great introduction to the Kylo Ren character and the broadsword lightsaber, the broad saber. Yeah.
Oh, that created all sorts of discussion.
Oh yeah, like some people thought it was great. Some people were like, that's fucking stupid. Fuck that.
This is dumb. This is gonna be terrible. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And then of course we had the shot of the Falcon, the I'm going low shot where she fucking like scoops up and then down, and you see the TIE fighters fly by.
Yeah, which is great.
But the best part of that was that little bitty nod that they gave to the classic fans during that scene, and that was the new deflector dish on the Falcon.
Yeah,
So
and like the hardcores picked it up almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's the differences between this Falcon and the one we're used to seeing?
So, and at the last time we saw the Falcon, it got its fucking deflector dish ripped off.
Twang.
During the Death Star run. So that was just a very subtle, awesome nod.
Not a scratch.
Yeah. Yes. I got your word. So yeah, that was it. That was that first teaser, and goddamn, like I said, I watched this thing 100 fucking times easily, slowing it down, looking at it scene by fucking scene, and I was just seeing this got me so fucking hyped.
This was
for Force Awakens.
This was definitely a great way to start getting hyped for the movie for sure. I think like I said, this is not my favorite of the three that we're going to talk about. You know what one of my favorite is. Like, this one had 24,258,455 views when I looked at it earlier.
But that is not what its initial numbers were, because if you remember, we had that day in Star Wars back at the end of November, and it said that it got over 100 million views in the first week.
I don't remember that, but
yeah.
I'm just telling you, like,
we can roll that tape.
Roll the tape.
Yeah.
No, don't bother. It's not worth it. I'm just saying, I just, when I looked at it based on the links you put in the notes off the StarWars.com, that's where I got the numbers from.
Sure.
So whatever. Regardless, it's a lot of fucking people watching it,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, you've probably watched it 100 times. I've definitely watched it, dozens and dozens of times. Especially as we're getting hyped up for this, and like, how can we analyze this a little bit?
Yeah. Because, and that's the thing, they know the Star Wars fans are going to do that.
Fuck yeah.
So that's why they have to have these tight controls as to what they actually feed us. Because, looking back at it now, this first teaser showed us almost nothing as far as like the plot or any secrets regarding the movie whatsoever.
No, the only indication that you really get that, and you probably could have inferred it anyway, is like when Snoke says the dark side, and it flashes to Kylo.
Yep.
And the light, and then you have the and then you got the Falcon doing that peel off move, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't give you any indication about the Jedi or anything else. It's just like dark and light.
Yep.
And so here's your dark character, and then we're representing the Falcon as the light.
Yep.
Which it always has been. So
Sure.
you're not really getting anything out of that,
No,
except
not at
just some build up. And when did you say this was? November of 14?
November of 14. So
Right.
over a year before The Force Awakens actually came out, we got this first trailer.
Where's our fucking trailer for episode 9 then?
That's
God
why
damn it.
That's why we're having
Tell
this
somebody.
conversation. Do something.
Do something.
So moving on to, what did I say? April of 2015?
I don't know what you said. I'm not. I printed.
Yeah,
my
April
own
6th,
notes.
April 16th of 2015, Star Wars Celebration. So they have the celebration event. They have the cast of Force Awakens come out, and then J.J. Abrams is on stage and is like, as they're about to close up, he's like, "Oh, by the way, do you want to see a new trailer?" And the crowd goes fucking wild. You can watch, like, there's all kinds of YouTube videos out there with the live crowd reaction as they showed this for the first time at Celebration. And we got the trailer that you've talked about before. That starts off.
Dude, I just got goosebumps. You just saying the trailer that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Or we're getting ready to talk about. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck me.
It starts off desert shot again, thinking fucking Tatooine. But I think it was at that celebration is when they announced that it was not Tatooine, it was Jakku. But either way,
You have to have been watching that deeply into it.
yeah, like most people,
really-
I'm sure, probably still thought it was Tatooine.
Oh,
and we see Ray Speeder going across the bottom of the screen,
Just the-
wreckage, X-Wing, and then you see the rays, and then you realize that is a fucking crashed Star Destroyer.
Fuck
And
me.
everybody who watched that trailer lost their shit. When they
Oh
saw
my
it.
god, I got goosebumps right now, dude. It's insane. It's insane. And I watched this thing legitimately 25 times today.
Yeah.
I watched this trailer 25 times today. I'm just like, because in my note it says, first off, this is the best movie trailer I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Nice.
And I'll talk about the other stuff, but for that portion, I said that, and this is quoting, fuck me, I get wood every time I see this, every fucking time. And if it has, according to the YouTube channel we looked at today, it has over 81 million views, and I've at least 1,000 of those are mine, legitimately. This was what really got me excited, because to me, this trailer with Luke's narration over, taking that line from The Empire Strikes Back, from Return of the Jedi. I'm sorry.
It was the line from that movie, but Mark Hamill re-recorded all of that dialogue.
Well, it sounded perfect.
Yeah.
It sounded perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because it's like there's a good continuity to the way it's said, but it's not like raspy voice Luke. It's Luke.
Well, and that was the thing. There was like an article somewhere, and Mark Hamill talked about like how he kind of had to try to like emulate his voice from
his own voice.
Yeah, from the days as he was re-recording this dialogue for this trailer.
So just the way Luke's narration was and the way that they did the cutscenes, it's perfect. It's the perfect movie trailer. One of the things you were going to lean into as far as the conversation starter was like, what makes a Star Wars trailer so much better than any other trailer? My answer to you is I don't give a fuck about movie trailers. I really don't. Unless it's a Star Wars trailer, I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so much flooding out there. Like this Captain Marvel trailer that came out.
Yawn.
Yeah, I'm not a Marvel guy. It's well documented on here, right? But it's Captain Marvel, Air Force pilot, good looking blonde chick kicking ass. Okay, you may have piqued my interest a little bit, right? Captain America version of some female female character, whatever. I don't words English. Excuse me. So, but watching that, I'm like, it was a bad trailer, and I don't get excited for movie trailers. I really, unless I know there's a Star Wars one coming out. And I'm sitting in a movie theater, I'll watch trailers. I'm like, oh, I might watch that. I might watch that. There's been a couple of them like, oh yeah, maybe that might have sold me.
Sure.
But this Star Wars trailer right here is my standard. Like if it's not better than this, then it's not worth watching.
Yeah.
Like I won't go and rewatch a trailer 50 fucking times that day.
Right.
Or within the hour that it comes out. Like but that happened with this trailer. The narration overlaid with the imagery. Fucking Darth Vader's melted helmet.
Yeah, that was a hell of a shot.
Scene. Like, holy shit, that's your first that's your first time you're seeing it, that shot. And the way he talks about my father had it, and it reaches out and touches it. Like you've seen Return of the Jedi, the final scene in the funeral pyre, where that fucking helmet is from. It immediately puts you right. There's no doubt in your mind that this is a fucking Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
None. It reaches back and says, okay, we're coming right from Return of the Jedi and putting it right in your fucking lap.
Right. And that's the same story with the deflector dish on the Falcon.
Right.
Same sort of thing.
But
this was a lot more overt, I guess.
Yeah, this was way more emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is like we've seen episode 1, 2, and 3. We know Anakin's backstory, and now we've gotten to a point where, from a continuity standpoint, now this is what's making a connection between the two movies. Yeah. That's what it made it for me. Ultimately. Yeah,
and the fact that it's being referenced at all in this movie, the idea of Vader and Vader's helmet is being referenced in The Force Awakens. Is that's incredible.
Yeah, So then it goes to my sister has it, and you had it's
Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata, thank you, handing Leia, which we know is a deleted scene because Maz Kanata had a lot more involvement with the Resistance, and she traveled with them back to the thing. All that stuff was cut.
Yeah, and that's probably the footage that they're going to use for Carrie Fisher in episode 9, but we digress.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So my sister has it. It was good extrapolation, again, making the connection from Luke to Leia with the lightsaber. Like we all recognize the fucking lightsaber.
Right.
We all know.
And it was the baby killer too. And that was when
the lightsaber.
Because the last time we saw that lightsaber was Luke's hand getting cut off in Cloud City. So somehow this lightsaber has made its way back into the Star Wars universe.
And again, the hardcore nerds immediately saw that the handle of that lightsaber and were like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
And to including me.
Yep.
And then it says you have that power too. And then it goes to the Christmas 2015.
Yep.
The music playing.
Yeah, the John Williams score again.
Yes. And then it brings Poe into it in the X-Wing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we talked about it at length. We talked about it at length at some point. Either it was on the other podcast or whatever, because we weren't doing this podcast then. So it was, yeah, I know we talked about it. We might have just talked about our work, but it was that like, oh, is this like Poe's the next person you see? So what would they're leading us on again, right? It's like, oh, what do they actually mean by this? And it goes from there and it goes to the fucking TIE fighter lighting up the fucking hangar.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And it's in my notes here. It's like, oh man, I feel dizzy. It's like, TIE pew, 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 and fucking bodies are flying around. I mean, it's just like so graphic. And that's the one scene in Force Awakens that has a Wilhelm scream.
Yep, that's right.
So, and you see the shit blowing up the fucking hammer, like, oh my fucking god, right? And then you got the walkthrough with Phasma stomping around. And my note here is like, this is where Jason's hard on for Phasma started.
Well, yeah, that was her big reveal.
Yeah, that was
we didn't know anything about Phasma or anything. So when we see that fucking chrome stormtrooper armor, it's like, ooh,
Well, some people were like that. I could care less.
I was impressed.
I was curious.
Yeah.
I was curious. I was not impressed. I was still fucking trying to regain blood flow from the TIE fighter fucking lighting shit up. And then later, Tater. I'll leave this watch for running time. Or I'll leave this for running time for watch time. Oh, jeez. Whatever. So yeah. The squirrel. And then obviously the big reveal for this at the end, you got all this great, you got Luke narrating over, you've got the Darth Vader helmet, you've got Leia in the lightsaber, you've got probably the weakest part of this is the Poe and Phasma, although that scene with the fucking X-Wings over the water was fucking epic.
Oh yeah,
absolutely fucking epic. And then it's like, okay,
well, and we get one shot of Rey and Finn too, of them being chased down on Jakku.
Yeah.
But we have no frame of reference for the characters at this point. We had that scene where
it's just them running again.
Yeah, and like, Rey sticking out her hand to have Finn.
I didn't put it in here, but I'd like all the running. I was like, is this a Julia Roberts movie? The Joker, Julia Roberts runs in every movie she's in. Yeah, it just popped in my head. But and then you get that moment of silence, and you see the interior of the Falcon, and Han and Chewie were home.
Yeah,
and that again, fucking. And after that, it's like, fuck, we gotta go see this movie right now.
Yeah, because
and we still had a fucking year. We had a year to wait after that.
Well, this was April, so we had
6 months to wait.
Yeah,
8 months.
Math.
We had to wait.
Yes, but that was great too, showing Han and Chewie.
Oh,
because
so anybody that was outliers on this fucking movie, like they were immediately brought back into it just with that. They went and said, okay, this went from being a really this movie's going to make money to this movie's going to break records.
Yes.
And that's what they were going for. That's why this trailer is so perfect. You tee it up with a little bit of here's all new stuff. Maybe it's Tatooine, maybe it's not. It's probably Tatooine. It's the only desert planet we know, right? So like you're looking, it's like, oh, what is going on? It's the Kylo Ren guy, whatever, the stupid lightsaber. And then all of a sudden you get Luke. You have Luke's voice.
Yeah.
And it's a familiar voice with familiar things. You got the helmet. And then you got this and everything else. And all of a sudden, boom, fucking Han and Chewbacca. It is mic
like,
drop. Best fucking trailer ever made.
Yeah, this was the trailer for us. This is the one for us hardcore Star Wars fans. This It's funny too, because for people like us who grew up on this stuff, for decades, we would listen to Harrison Ford in interviews and whatnot say, I'm done with Star Wars. I'm
Yeah.
not making any more Star Wars movies. That part of my career is over. I'm moving on, blah, blah, blah.
And he'd be real shitty about it too, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he was a jerk about Star Wars for years and years. But then after all of that, after all this time, to see Harrison Ford as Han Solo on the fucking screen again, it's just like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, and what's epic about the whole thing, because we haven't reviewed Force Awakens for this podcast.
No, we have not.
Interesting. So,
it's worth it. Trust me. After watching these trailers, I want to watch.
I want to watch it again. I'll watch it right now.
Yeah.
God, I'm like, how am I not going to watch this? That's why I ended up playing Battlefront. Battlefront 2. I'm like, oh god, I'm all Star Wars spooled up. It's perfect. Yeah. I almost didn't want to do the sports podcast before this one. I wanted to wait till after because I was like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it got me so tuned up. And I watched that fucking trailer. I'm telling you, I watched it at least 25 times, if not more.
Just today?
Just today.
Nice.
After you put it in a note and I play it, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
You know, I'm either suffering from some sort of stroke or I'm fucking just every time I can watch it over and over and over again. And it's the perfect movie trailer.
Yep.
It just by itself.
Now, before we move into the final official trailer, something happened that most people don't talk about, and I think most people miss this. But in August, so a couple months after that trailer came out and a couple months before the final trailer came out, they released like a 10-second Instagram trailer. And like it was mostly already footage that we had already seen. It was basically Snoke saying there's been an awakening, the dark side and the light, and it showed fucking Kylo Ren igniting his lightsaber. But the other piece of new footage that we saw from that was Finn lighting up the baby killer.
Right. I did see that.
That was the reveal of Finn, you know, potentially being the Jedi, right? Being the one who wields the lightsaber.
And honestly, it's a setup for what we see in the third teaser.
Right. Because one thing I noticed when I would watch a lot of the reactions to the official trailer, the third trailer, and they would show the Finn lighting up part, everybody was like, holy shit, he's the Jedi. You know, like they didn't know that a couple months before it was already revealed that he was going to fight with this lightsaber. So, but yeah, that was something that really flew under a lot of people's radar at the time.
In 2015, I don't think I think Instagram was still where the kids were hiding out because the adults were starting to take over Facebook.
That's right.
Honestly. So, and then the adults took over Facebook and now the kids are all on Snapchat and most adults don't want anything to do with Snapchat.
No,
so far it's working for them.
That's bad news. I can just tell already. So anyway, moving on to the official trailer. Now this one has some really interesting stories to it because this is the one that was released during halftime of Monday Night Football.
What just happened?
Mid stroke, stroke mid sentence. But I should edit that, but I won't. But yeah, Monday Night Football, and it was an Eagles game, right? So yeah, Monday Night Football, October 19th of 2015. So 2 months, November, December, 2 months before the movie was released. We get the final or official trailer, as it's technically called.
Right.
And I'm sitting here racking my brain, trying to think, like, where the fuck was I?
I know exactly where I was.
I know where you were because you've told that story before.
Right.
And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I mean, I wasn't at the bar with Dave. So I don't know. And you know what I think it was? I think I was on the road because this was back when we were in the same squadron and that was the year. That was my bad year, 2015, where I was on the road all the fucking time. And I think I was on the road when that happened. And I just happened to watch it on YouTube, like right after the Monday night game debut. So
I think we were communicating about it.
Yeah.
Like over the work phone.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was overseas somewhere. I don't fucking remember where I was at the time. That whole year is a blur for me. But yeah, the Monday Night Football thing. I don't know if you want to add anything to your story.
So yeah, I was, for that third for Tealser. God damn,
this is a weird night for
eloquently
us
tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on.
I probably said fucking 450 times, which is probably as many times as I've seen this trailer too.
Yeah,
compared to the thousands that I've seen the second one. But the best thing about this trailer was I was at a bar for Monday Night Football, and I think I had both my kids with me. Like it was a Masonic event that was happening at this bar that a Mason owns.
Okay.
And so we had a table and everything else. And that night, we knew on that Monday Night Football game, the Eagles game, that this trailer was going to come out.
Yeah.
So Eagles are winning. you know, I honestly I forget who they were playing because it was yeah, we all know how much of an Eagles fan I am, but like the fact that this trailer was coming out was just like get to halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So the best part about it was so you got like bar noises, right? And this was like an outdoor deck that had been like basically converted into in quasi indoor space.
Mm-hmm.
So it was heated and everything, but you know, lots of bar noise. Like, this was where basically everybody was just standing around drinking, carrying on, or whatever during the game.
Yeah.
And so halftime, bar noise is real super loud. And I was genuinely worried about whether or not I was going to hear the trailer. Genuinely worried. So I actually moved over to a particular spot where I was able to see a TV better. So I wanted to be able to just, if I couldn't hear it that well, I wanted to see everything that was happening.
Sure, yeah.
So Monday Night Football logo comes up, and oh God, I could see his face. Al Michaels was still working Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. They had a lead into the trailer
because I remember, it was a lot of fucking talking and
people
just being like, "Get to the goddamn trailer!"
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff, and they had to lead into the trailer, and then so it went to that dark screen, and same black screen. Everybody shut the fuck up.
Wow.
There was 150. I got goosebumps again. 150 people in there. If there was a person, and everybody went dead silence. So I heard everything in that trailer perfectly.
Nice.
In a bar full of random people, a bar full of Eagles fans watching the Eagles game.
Yeah.
And it went dead silent, so everybody could watch this. And that right there tells you like the power of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So all people, obviously they're of drinking age, or mostly, you know, people my age or older.
Sure.
Right. So you're talking about people at the time I was, you know, in my late 30s, early 40s, whatever. Yeah. So you're talking about an age bracket that grew up in Star Wars.
Yep.
And everybody in that place was dead fucking silent. No announcement saying, hey, the trailer's come on. No, nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody was paying attention. They saw it come on, shut the fuck up, and watch the trailer. And it had a round of applause after the end of it.
That's awesome.
It was fucking fantastic, man. I'd never had an experience like that before.
I would love to have been,
especially in a bar
like that.
Oh God, it's getting goosebumps. Oh my God.
Yeah. And this was the trailer where we kind of got a feel for who these characters were, because up to this point, these first two trailers, we knew we had this character of Rey, this character of Finn, and a little bit more of Poe. Didn't know shit about him, and Kylo Ren, obviously.
Right. Other than that, they ran a lot.
Yeah. And we had heard no dialogue from any of them up to this point either. So this is the first time we hear any of their dialogue. And it starts off with Rey. Who are you? I'm no one. Right. And right after her part is when this beautiful fucking piano kicks in. I have no idea where this piece of music comes from, but this piano score for the beginning of this trailer is ingrained in my brain. And it is just a phenomenal piece of music.
Yeah. Oh. Shit, I was just listening to it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't recognize it from any movies.
I did. Fuck.
It's
not. I don't think it's in the original trilogy.
Yeah,
I think it's in the. I want to say it's in episode 2. I have to listen to it again. I'll be able to tell you.
Okay.
I've listened to the score almost as many times as I've listened to the movie. Who's calling me from Mount Holly? I have no idea. I don't either.
You're gonna answer it or
nope.
Okay. So yeah, so we get the voice of Maz asking Rey, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm no one." And then we get the shot of her looking off and seeing this.
You see the starship, taking off.
Then it goes to Finn. First we see the shot of the fucking TIE fighter getting shot and fucking spinning out of control down to Jakku, and then Finn taking off the helmet. I was trained to do one thing, but I got nothing to fight for. So that at that point, we now know that he is a former stormtrooper and not necessarily somebody who like snuck into the First Order in a stormtrooper outfit. Now we know for sure he was is a stormtrooper.
So one thing I want to bring up before we get any further into the 2-minute 35 seconds of this, so when you're panning across in this first trailer, we had the view of the First Order stormtroopers like in formation.
Yeah. Oh, in their fucking Nazi formation.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get a quick glimpse of that, and you're like, wow, that looks really like Nazi Hitler or Nazi Germany, right?
Yep.
So they show the shot again, except now you see the bright red banners. You see a guy standing up there, and you hear like, you know, you hear that. You can't make out any words, but it sounds like like fucking Hitler.
Yeah.
It sounds like a 1935 fucking video of Hitler on the podium. And like, it's so, they want you so badly to put the First Order in that category.
Sure.
Like, you thought the Empire was bad. These motherfuckers are Nazis.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh shit. You know, they're like, there's no, they're wearing white stormtrooper outfits for a reason here, folks.
Yeah.
Like that immediately puts that in your mind of like, this isn't some next level fucking, this isn't.
Yeah. You thought the
this
Nazi
is not your father's fucking stormtrooper.
Yeah. You thought the Nazi illusions were bad in the original trilogy. You ain't seen shit yet. So, yeah. And then we get the really good line. First, we see that shot of Kylo Ren on the bridge of the Star Destroyer with the fucking red streaks going across. No idea what they are at that point.
Right.
But you hear his first dialogue finally. And, what was it? I will finish what you started. Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started. And then we see him talking to the Vader helmet.
Right.
So now, okay. So this is the guy who's got the Vader helmet.
Right. So it's starting to piece a couple things together that you really weren't sure about.
Yeah. Still don't know who he was at this point, but he sounded fucking badass. And
yeah, and you were talking about the music. Like, I put it on there, like my reference to like the goosebumps and fucking blood loss. Like the music. Oh shit, here we go again. Just like, oh man, here we go. It's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah. Well, the best part was one of these next scenes where you hear the Leia theme kick in as you see the fucking Falcon like flying through that cavern through like all the wreckage and shit.
Yep.
And it plays the Leia theme on top of that, which you would think wouldn't fit, but it fucking fit perfectly with that scene, the music, and then Rey's dialogue.
Yep.
Where she's
again, brilliant editing for
Yeah.
that, because Bronco Fett's alluding that, there's so many redirects here, and it starts leading you down this like path. Like, we're trying to make all these connections that don't exist, because of, we know this music, we know this person's voice, we know this ship. So we're trying to piece all these things together, and it completely doesn't, not even close to what actually happens in the movie.
Because at this point, I'm assuming, despite the British accent, I'm assuming Rey's got to be Han and Leia's kid at this point.
Oh, I was firmly in that boat.
Yeah, and I was thinking Kylo Ren was probably like Luke's son. So, and then of course Finn, we see the scene with him with the lightsaber at the end. It's like, okay, so he's like some stormtrooper who
Go ahead.
He's like some stormtrooper who has force powers, and he's eventually going to become Luke's apprentice, and that's kind of what I was left believing at the end of this.
Well, obviously, because you get that scene where they say the Jedi. Yeah. And then they show Finn.
Yeah, they show
with the fucking lightsaber.
Yeah, Poe like patting him on the shoulder.
No, they say the Jedi, they show Finn, and then my note is this is how all that shit got started.
Yep.
Like, you already, any kind of allusions that were to it, now all of a sudden you fucking have it right there.
Yeah.
Like, they say Jedi, they show Finn.
Yeah, which had to be
it's him and Poe walking next to each other.
Yeah,
and they do the close up of Finn.
But that swerve had to be deliberate, because I
guess,
because they wanted that reveal of Rey, your favorite scene in Force Awakens. They wanted that scene with the fucking lightsaber right to her hand.
Oh, that one. I thought you were being facetious, but yeah. Oh, fuck me, dude. Ooh.
That
I might pass out.
Like, everything led up to that moment. That was the moment where like everything came into focus, I guess, as far as this movie and who was the true Force user and everything else. So, I feel like they had to do that swerve, and I'm glad they did.
I'm glad they did too. It fucking worked.
Yeah.
It fucking worked.
Yeah, because it's still the highest grossing fucking movie in America. So, and it may very well be until the end of time.
Yeah, unless some shit Marvel movie takes it over.
Yeah, and then towards the end of this trailer, we had a bunch of quick flashes again, like a space battle, fucking ground battle, a quick shot of Leia, the first shot we get of Leia's face in any of these trailers, hugging Han, and then fucking Finn igniting the lightsaber. And the best part about this was like Kylo Ren like slowly walking up to him as he's got the lightsaber lit. Finn's kind of like backing up because he knows he's in way over his fucking head.
He's like he's all like this. Yeah. He's holding up the saber like this. Like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this thing.
Yeah, and then fucking Kylo walks right up to him and then just brings up his saber, and that's where they cut it. And you're like, oh no, show us more.
But again, this is to coincide with what Boba Fett was talking about. It's crazy how the Finn stuff was a total misdirect, and it absolutely was. Like, all of it leading up to it.
And it was purely deliberate.
Yeah, and Finn with the lightsaber. And then my note is JJ is leading us on, and I liked it.
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah,
it absolutely worked.
Yep, and that's why we were so fucking hyped for Force Awakens.
Oh.
And even though we got swerved, even though things did not go the way we thought, we
Still enjoyed it.
still love Force Awakens. And we've talked about this, our love for that movie, despite all the fucking haters out there. I saw it in theaters 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times I saw it.
Yeah. So, and you know what? I'm kind of sad I didn't see it more times.
I know.
I wish I could see it in theaters again.
And maybe someday we will.
Yeah, like maybe get to see a marathon or whatnot.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we talked about it for doing it for episode 9.
Yeah.
Remember those theaters up in New York or something?
Yeah.
We got to readdress that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's put a pin in that.
Yeah.
But we got to do some long-term planning to get shit on the calendar for that.
Yeah.
It might require taking a couple days off.
Yeah, at least. So
before and after.
And yeah, that's kind of our analysis of these Force Awakens trailers, and the way in retrospect, the way they just built the fucking anticipation for this movie was flawless. I couldn't imagine them putting together better trailers for this movie than what we were delivered, and it got us so fucking hyped for that movie. We saw the movie, fucking loved it. I understand that there are some people out there who don't like Force Awakens. I don't understand why, but it's whatever.
It's a great fucking Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
it really is.
So yeah,
and honestly, we've done our rankings, the movie rankings and things like that. I mean, if you don't watch these trailers and just want to watch that movie again, I think there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
honestly. And the unfortunate part is, and this is again, we've talked about it at length when we talked about The Last Jedi, because that's really the first movie we really got to review heavily and anticipate for the podcast and everything else.
Yep.
I think that actually hurted us. It hurt us talking friends. This is what we do for hours. It hurt us going into Last Jedi because doing the podcast, doing so much research, doing so much analysis and everything else, we had build.
Mm-hmm.
And so did everybody else.
Yeah. And expectations. We had the expectations.
And we didn't manage them accordingly because let's face it, one thing that I definitely thought about when I was watching these trailers again was, if JJ had done The Last Jedi, what would we be saying about it now?
It could be 100% different.
It could be. It could be really, because we know that his vision for the second movie was different.
Yeah.
So, but we don't know what that vision was. And really, what really is intriguing about this, and I think really what makes me want to see, let's face it, I want to see episode 9, regardless of who's directing it.
Sure.
Even if fucking Chisel Chest was fucking doing it again, I'd still go see it. Yeah. I want to see how they conclude this. But now that J.J. Abrams is doing it, I'm anticipating the same. Like, I'm almost getting that mindset. Like, well, this is what he did to get into Force Awakens. I'm anticipating something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the trailers going into Last Jedi were very, very similar to this in their tone.
And they built our anticipation. Like we were hyped for The Last Jedi.
And it just happens to be the way it was presented to us and written and everything else wasn't exactly, in your terms, it wasn't your cup of tea, because obviously you don't like giant pieces of shit in your tea.
Exactly.
But which brings me to Isaac Sipes said we need an Eskimo Jedi. And I was like, Eskimo Jedi. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
I don't.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Way over my head. So I don't know what's going on.
Not nearly as far as you think.
Okay. But yeah, that's it for this episode. And, timing couldn't be better because we're getting close to being overtime. So
how long do we talk?
God, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Oh, that's not bad.
Hour and 40.
That's Star Wars standard, man.
Right. But when we were doing one episode a week, yes. But when we're now combining it with the sports podcast,
we're doing fine.
It makes for a long night. But thank you, everybody, for sticking with us this long.
And,
as always, follow us on all of the social medias, be it Instagram, Facebook, the private Facebook group,
the All Things Star Wars podcast, Sidebar Cantina.
Yes.
I don't know why I said it like that.
I know. Why are you talking so slow?
Tired.
And again, please, for the love of God, if you are listening to us through a web browser, through one of these numerous Facebook groups that I posted this in, hopefully I'm not banned from one of them by this time.
You probably are.
When this thing is released.
Honestly.
And join the Sidebar Cantina Facebook group to hear all the details about me trolling people in other Star Wars groups. But yeah, please, for the love of God, subscribe to the audio podcast and give us the downloads. Our fucking download tracker is all kinds of out of whack, and I need to like get real numbers, which apparently it's not tracking web downloads anymore. So,
Boo.
which it was before, and we were getting like we were doing really well, and all of a sudden, if this thing is to be believed, we're like getting 0 downloads. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't, especially since I know at least 6 people are probably going to download the podcast. But
Yep. So anyway, subscribe to all that. And next week, we floated the ideas of doing Vader. We've floated the ideas of the Vader comics and getting back into the Clone Wars. I know certain people who are regular listeners of ours really want us to get into the Clone Wars. So,
and we do. We need to. I don't know if next week's the right time. I got finals coming up and shit like that.
Yeah,
so,
and I have to work this weekend.
Yeah, so that probably isn't going to happen. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And plus, we have to start mission planning for
Holiday
holiday special.
Yes, holiday special. We have picked a date for that, right? 23rd.
Yes.
Yeah, remember you
I
texted me like a
forgot.
week ago?
But it's in my phone, so yes.
Yes, so the 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas. Mark your calendars. We will be doing a live broadcast where we watch the holiday special live on YouTube, and we will react and MST 3000 it up.
Yes.
And
as soon as we get the technology figured out, we're going to do that.
Yes, and I'm pretty much swearing off alcohol from here on out, but I will make an exception for that evening.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Because I think it has to happen for us just to get through the fucking thing.
It'll be for sentence enhancement. Sentence enhancement. Oh, and rest in peace to not only George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st president of the United States, but also in the same sentence, I can't believe I'm saying this, to the creator of SpongeBob. He recently passed.
That is true. Yeah.
So I love that. I love that character.
Yeah.
So it's always a lot of fun. And I say that because of the sentence enhancers, SpongeBob and Patrick use their sentence enhancers.
Yes.
I love SpongeBob. It was such a great show.
Yep. And yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. Way to go, Dave. Way to fucking bring that up now.
All right. So that being said, I don't know. Yeah, why did you do that?
I don't know, because I felt like it.
All right. Well, we're gonna close it up from here. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody who's been listening. And until next time, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
It was an off week, and I think it started with the not having glasses, and that just kind of threw us off for the whole rest of the time.
Okay, so now what do I click?
Yeah. Peace, bitches.